Knockout punch, puncher's chance. You grab the back of your neck because a lot of wild punches, even if you got inside the arc, they hit you in the back of the neck and causes trauma. A lot of times when you're close to somebody, they're just trying to hit you. You don't want to get back of the neck. That covers this. This covers the front of your mouth, your chin, your jaw, other knockout triangles, and this covers the other side. Okay, now we're going to work a dive. A dive is basically used to create a lot of space or to drive through somebody. So, Fletch, can I borrow you real quick? The idea of the helmet is, if we're in this position, go ahead and block. Rather than block and then strike, and then I strike into a fist fight, the idea of the helmet is when I swing, he's impacting. No, you get a helmet. When I swing, he's going to impact me, so his defense is his offense, okay? Plus, he's able to connect. That can be thrown to the shoulder, helmet to the shoulder. It can be thrown center mass here, and it can be thrown to the face, which is obviously more trauma. You decide, depending on the situation. The dive, on the other hand, it's the same thing. He's got to protect that area. So we always change levels. He's not going to be there, first of all right? Second thing is he's going to extend his hands, drive through, shoulder, center mass, or face. If he hits me in the chin from underneath, this is what you get. So you better be able to justify that, because sending the guy back. If he hits me in the chest, you'll get that. And in shoulders, sometimes you get lucky and you spin the guy around or stop something cold, right? But the bottom line is throw it again, facing this way, Fletch. When he throws that position, it's a split moment. He's not running me 10 yards with this, okay? As soon as he impacts, right there. Nothing to hit. Okay, so he's protected. We're going to do that with the shields. Let's go, somebody. It's not always a fight. You got to walk them along. Sometimes it's a little bit of a struggle. Sometimes you can avoid the struggle. So we're going to go to escorts and basically handling the first intercept, which is hands. Little touches and stuff like that. We're going to start with a 2-point drill, which is for arm drag. So remember this in your terminology. Helmet, dive, and then all the hand fighting we're going to do now, those are your intercepts. That's what deals with incoming, okay? So I'd like you guys to work, if you're new, work with somebody who's been here before. You guys don't work together right now, work with somebody else, right? Switch partners, 2-point drill, let me see it. Who's got it? Remember, we worked interceptors, we did the helmet, it gets you in, it intercepts the attack. We work dive, that intercepts the attack. Your arm drags intercept people getting in your space. Same principle of taking away their offense with your offense as well. We're going to get into stabilizers now. Starting off with the wrist weave, which is our escort and transportation tactic, okay? I'm going to have Dave, if you could please come up. You and Fletch are going to do this as a team. You're going to basically teach it, and Fletch will put in his pointers. Again, the instructors will be here Monday and Friday, everybody, so we might as well take advantage of them. So just the wrist weave, let's do 2-on-1 and explain why it works. The 4 points Fletch, you just bounce off each other. You're both teaching, okay?
Okay, the 2-on-1, most agencies have some kind of minimum custody hold.
In English.
Kind of thing. Yes. English. There you go. Right. Too bloody right. Yeah. Okay, so there's 2 points of contact. So obviously, Fletcher's got options there to escape out of that. So what we do with the ISR is 4 points of contact. There's 1 holding onto the coconut. 2 is his shoulder into my shoulder. Point 3, his elbow into my fat stomach. Point 4 down here. So I'm now in a position to use my core strength, some element of control. If the punches start to fly and so on, I can tuck my head out of the way. Okay, so we can see that is a much stronger technique than that. Okay, that's the 2-on-1 because we have 2 of our hands on his one arm. Any questions on the 2-on-1? Okay, with everything in ISR, if they resist, it's out of the frying pan into the fire. Most agencies have got something to deal with that side curl resistance, usually that kind of thing. Okay, again, injuries in training. Hard to apply and feel. Stop resisting, all that kind of thing. We've created a problem. So within the ISR, our response to side curl resistance is the wrist weave, hand to centre, rotate. We need lift here. We've got to have lift. Once again, hand to centre, fist through, elbow over. On the other side, we're about 2-on-1. Side curl resistance, hand to centre, lift, fist through, elbow over. Okay. Common faults. My fingers splayed, which gives him levers and things to break. Hand being flat. Okay, which is a lot less pressure for him. Hand up here on his hand where he's got that flexion in his wrist, as opposed to here where it's locked out. You'll notice that my elbows have come back into forklift. Okay, if my elbows are flared out, it gives him options to escape from the technique. He can pull on that elbow and so on. If he does, we've got other options to go to the back and so on. But let's lock it in tight to start with. From here, and we can about here over the shoulder blade and so on, lock down, assess our options. We're always in a position to disengage. Guys, that's the 2-on-1 and the wrist weave.
Basically covered all my future points.
Okay. There'll be a little hat over there by the door. You can leave your tips.
Make sure, obviously, touch on all the details. Kind of broke it down as far as troubleshooting. Whenever we're teaching this, we're sharing this with other people. Things that you're going to commonly see is people punch their hand through. Sometimes instructors will do it. They'll punch their hand through it. They kind of wiggle the finger and just say, see here, but then they'll forget to make a fist and forget to emphasize why they're making a fist as far as grabbing the fingers and issues like that. Other thing, and probably most common thing, is that once you lock into that flank position, it should be very difficult, if not impossible, for the guy to square up with you. One thing that he has to do before he squares up with you, he has to straighten his arm. Now, he is going to be able to straighten his arm if he's strong enough, right? Because all he has to do is take his free arm and basically push it out. But that puts you right back into 2-on-1. So the bottom line is when we teach this, the philosophy of this whole thing is you have control over a straight arm, you have control over a bent arm. If the guy submits due to the pain here and decides to comply, bonus. We don't count on that. We use that as a control over a bent limb. Okay? Pair up. What we're going to do is we're going to work just 2 and 4 point. Get to your 2-on-1 because you should be there already. Once you turn the corner, you should be basically set up for your 2-on-1. Once you get on that 2-on-1, once you can hold it for a second, and then we want the whoever your bad guy is, whoever your role player is, to start playing around with a little bit of pressure by bending the arm. Now, don't fight it too much because we don't want to wreck your elbows and everything else. The idea is once you start feeling a little bit of pressure, the guy starts bending his arm, allow him to bend it, flow with it. If it's straight, don't try to bend it. If it's bent, don't try to straighten it. It's all stuff from the sound. Okay?
I see guys get lazy now. You just square up to me, turn your body, because my shoulder pressure wasn't there. So shoulder pressure here, and I get that grip, whether it's the, you call it the coconut or the bicep grip, whatever it is, I'm leaning into it. Now when he tries to turn into me, it makes it easier to get that control and maintain. So that shoulder pressure, that inside grip is the most important. I care less about the outside because he would just bring it into the body.
Roger, good point. Okay, a couple of the things I'm seeing is the flat fist in there. Okay, so what we want is 3 thumbs up all the way on top. That'll give a lot more pressure over that radial nerve area. Not that we're necessarily looking for pain compliance, but it's there as a bonus. That's nowhere near as much intensity yet. And the other thing is that elbow flaring, just starting to break down their structure. Gives them options to pull out of there. Even I guess multiple opponents, it starts to give them areas to come in and harness you as opposed to being entitled to that forklift. Let's look at some of the versatility of this technique now. You don't even need, you can have stuff in your hands, whatever. Okay, so you can make a spray, yeah, sex toys, whatever they're in your hand. Good to see that someone's listening. Okay, so locked in nice and tight. Even if the guy's sprayed, you may be able to spray him and come in and lock him up. Maybe he's handcuffed. If he's handcuffed, there's no way in the world we can come up with a gooseneck yet, but he's handcuffed, we can still put this on. If he's sitting down, you felt this one? Fletch. Okay, so we come down, team tactic, top him up, and he's up as quick as he can. Discomfort? Okay. Guys, get into 3s for a moment, try that pick up off the ground. Think about those other options, then I want you to change partners, work that drill, off the 4-point drill, into the 2-on-1, into the wrist weave. And then we're getting to that point now, where we should be starting to dive to disengage, yeah? While you've got them out in the wrist weave, looking around the room, thinking about your options, thinking about your exits, maybe disengaging, considering your tools and so on. Okay, environmental control, multidisciplinary, tactical environment. Cool. All right.
What's happening right now is transport. We're going to go to harness. So I'm going to have John, if you would please, and Bill. John, you're going to lead it from a LE perspective. Just if there's any pointers you bring along the way for harness, and then you can jump in whenever you want, like Fletch and Dave did. Okay? Alrighty. Harness.
Started from the 2-on-1, our 2-on-1.
Yes,
Same
sir.
thing, remember? We're locked in here, 4 points. Okay, whether it's coconut, whether it's bicep, we want control over here. Grapefruit, all right?
Kiwi.
From here. It's a transition. This is going to lead us right into our harness takedown. All right? Harness takedown, simply this. Remember we talked about the seatbelt? Okay, catching that grip on the hip. Watch my arm position. It slides up. Okay? Now it's not a choke because I'm not going to get both sides here. I'm not pulling on his neck. What I want to get is the smallest circumference around this part of his body. Okay? I don't want to have my hands out. There's too much wiggle room, too much space. So what I need to do is get a tight grip in the smallest part of his body, up under here. If you can go elbow to elbow, even better. If you have to get a grip because it's a big boy, same thing like with our with our wrist weave, as far as the grip goes, we don't want to have our fingers dangling out. So we're going to go palm to palm as far as our grip. As tight as you can get it. So, if I can go elbow to elbow, even better. Okay, look at my grip here. I'm high up here, I'm high underneath here. Already taking him off center line. Real quick, as far as body posture goes, if I can get his hips out in front of his knees, okay, he's going to drop. Okay, I've already got him off balance. Same thing, when I come into my harness, here and here, the tighter I get this grip, look at his body posture already. Okay, he's already off balance somewhat. Here and here. Now, when I do the actual takedown, what I need to do is get his hips.
Actually, John, don't stop. We won't go to resolution. We'll just go to the actual grips, which is perfect.
Okay.
Yeah, so
once again, if you're starting off from a 2-on-1, okay, whether it was from an arm drag and I got to this position, however I got here, okay, if the person starts to get froggy and you don't want to go to your wrist weave, I keep control. This is my seatbelt. I come up here, grip to grip. All right.
You guys saw that seatbelt as a way of keeping the guy from getting away from you. It's important to do that. He's going elbow to elbow because of size difference. We always teach palm to palm, so it's an average size, average size. If you guys are much taller, that's one option. But always stress this part because of the fact that we don't know what we're up against. Some people are so big, all you have is fabric and fabric. That's the other extreme. That works. Just close the gap. All right. This is used by the Coast Guard to rescue people from drowning in case it ever comes up in some kind of court situation. It's not a choke at all. And when we get into the resolution part, we'll talk about the possibility of hurting the neck, which we can avoid, obviously. So we're not going to get into resolutions, just that transition right there. Everybody see that? Do you put in one hip at all to bend them backwards if you're shorter than him, maybe?
If you've got, depending on the person you're going up against, there's different variations of it, different techniques. But if I've got a good size difference here, you can go one hip in.
That's it. See, I got it. Sit back. He's got his tools. He's got his gun sight back. He's got everything he needs.
And I'm here. Remember, this is important. We call this cinching. When I get here, as tight as I can get this grip.
Yeah, for example, start palm to palm, sir. Start palm to palm. You notice there's space. When we coach you guys, or if you're coaching somebody else, cinch it, cinch it, cinch it. So you'll watch. He'll keep getting tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter until the guy can't move.
And then I'm here.
Anything to add to that, Bill?
No, that was done.
All right. What I want you to do is go ahead, go back to your 2-point drill, and go ahead and arm drag the harness. Let me see what you guys got, and we'll go from there. Thank you very much. Let's go.
2-point drill, arm drag, 2 harness.
So God's enough, man. He had adrenaline since he was born. Getting those fuckers down and holding them down it's a special skill, all right? So you guys we're seeing a lot of gaps here in the harness here, right? Where even though we went over it, and you guys are still trying to let go and then grab it, all right? Does everybody know what I'm talking about? The last thing we just talked about. So we're gonna do a drill here, okay? If I come in here and I'm sloppy, right? And I'm to the side and all this stuff, he's just gonna move, right? All this stuff that I have to deal with because I was sloppy in the first place. The drill is nice and tight and stay behind him. See the difference? No breaks. Why am I back here? You can't half-ass this. If you're back here, it's because he broke that on you, correct? ISR is special because we don't break people. You guys all got morons in your department that break people very well with little training. So that's just the drill. He's going to come to this position. You want to do it from a 4-pointer.
I want to tell it. Just take 4 on the floor. I want to control his shoulders. I want to control his hips. So this controls his upper body, but now Tim can step behind him. Okay? So then I see guys getting sloppy with the upper body. They're doing the good lower body, but now the upper body's able to move. So now he's turning and there's getting in. I need you to do both. So I need you to lock it in. So I'm taking that arm pulling, however you guys are going to do it. I like to get right into that shoulder. This elbow is pulling on this shoulder. So I'm trying to break his posture down. I'm trying to get his shoulders behind his hips. So I'm pulling here and I'm pushing here. So I'm breaking that in. Now I'm pushing my hips in to get control of his hips. And I'm getting pressure. But now as Tim moves, I control him. I don't want him stepping behind me. We're getting control of his lower or his upper. So I want to control both halves. But if you're only controlling one, he's either going to step behind me or he's going to get his arms free. So I need to control them both so I can take him down. Now eventually, he'll pop, move, and get away. How long can I hold him there? I can take him down at will, but how long can I hold that position? Okay, so we need to focus and just isolate that one spot.
Let's drill this. Grab a partner, somebody you haven't worked with yet.
By the way, your job will be to lock me up. Don't do it perfect. If you're the bad guy, is simple. You're going to basically step out initially and then get this leg and trail it behind. So if you're doing it this way, this one steps out, this one goes behind. All right, you're just gonna try to do that. And then on the upper body, you're gonna try to lift the things up over your shoulder and start turning this way or over the shoulder and here. That's your job. Let's go. Lock me up. See if you can do it. Come.
What, you're trying to get
Yeah, lock me up. I'm trying to get up. Have fun. Go. I'm trying to get up from Tim. Go. You're pretty good. Woo! Hold me up. I would have gone over, man. That was my thing. I was gonna go over. Let's go.
Our matrix moment.
Come on, what we're going to do is we're not just continuing to do this, we're going to map the body. We're going to do wrist weave to harness the wrist weave on both sides, then map around the front, and then bring in another stabilizer, which is the underhook, which you guys, the same pattern as last time. Those of you staying through Thursday and Friday, we're going to add fabric. We're going to add clinch and cloth. That part of it will take place here, part of it will take place somewhere else. If you're here during that time, we'd love for you to take part of that, and the part that you can't take, just observe it so you can get some ideas from that. So 1:15, everybody back. Anybody staying? You're gonna stay? All right, so you can leave your stuff here. Bill's gonna stay in. If there's anything, you can call me. Sure. If I stand in front for a moment, and I do this, a good wrestler will lift his head up and take your back. What's a good wrestler doing getting arrested by a police officer? He was a good wrestler in high school. He's 40 right now, but your elbows are up, and that's the training that he had then. All right? So, once again, we're in here, elbows tight. So you get your head out, he can't. If he tries to grab my hands, my fists are shut. So he can't grab fingers. If he starts pulling my hand up, fantastic. He's pulling my hand up right where it needs to be. Right back to the front, pull the hand again, right where it needs to be. All right, so let's work the front a little bit, and then we'll tie it together to the back. Let's go. Not a tactic, this is it went wrong. Let's go, we're trying to fix the problem now. No necktie yet, just go front headlock. We'll do necktie next. Try not to do a necktie so much for so long. Go underhook to front headlock. You have his head here. No, like this. You can choke you or walk forward. Yeah. Walk forward. Here. Yep, elbows pinch. All you do is underhook, slide, and push. Now again, he's going to tackle you. Grab his head again. Go to tackle him again. There you go. There you go. He hits back. Right. Now you underhook again. Here. Chin strap. Good. Elbows tight. Yes. Yes. So far, harness, wrist weave, harness. You're here. Drop with the wrist weave. There's the front headlock. You would not do this as a tactic or mapping. Remember, mapping is just a training tool. So I'm dropping them. I'm in front. Now I can go to underhook pike. Everybody see that? So from right in here, go to here, go to here. Now, when you switch to a wrist weave, this doesn't make sense. But the only time you're doing any kind of unusual switches is when there's somebody else involved. So if he's the bad guy and we crash, he's against the wall, and we both do double helmets because he's trying to get by, and we go crash into him, he might get an underhook and pike. I might be fidgeting around. I might end up with the wrist weave. Now all of a sudden he said, it calls for an underhook and pike. Maybe we want to carry this guy somewhere. Why? I don't know. But I would release and get an underhook and pike now that we have some sense of control on him to move it. So the switches you're going to see now aren't practical. You wouldn't be doing a Seagal movie switching. You get one stabilizer. You shouldn't switch more than maybe once or twice. To switch to a third stabilizer means there's somebody there involved. If you switch, it's your fault. It's like being in a jiu-jitsu match or an MMA match, being in a really good position and giving it up for something cool. It's not going to happen under adrenaline stress anyway, okay? So when you're here and you want to switch to a front headlock, I'll just do it myself now. Yeah. Just drop and start going into here. Now I'm in an underhook and pike. I want to get behind him. Well, if he's cranking down on this, I can't duck under. So for the sense of the drill, he's going to let you go under. Go underneath, harness. Get him in the right position, then switch back to your wrist weaves. So I'm going right back to wrist weave. And he's complying. If he doesn't comply, then I'll sit him down. So he's complying. All right? So harness, then back to a wrist weave, drop to the front, elbows in tight, underhook. Now, when we're going to go back again, you can duck under, which is practical, which he's going to give you. If he doesn't, it's because it's awkward. You would grab the wrist and reset it, but that's because your partner's working on the other side. All right? Let's go. Map the body, front and back. Time to create some space. You'll see beginners in judo and wrestling think this is a frame. Now just keep me away. That'll buy you some time. You've seen different kind of frames here or framing the body. The guy's going to keep moving around that frame, so we have to adjust to the frame. If you see the ISR is pretty much alive when you're moving around. So when you start looking at any kind of stabilizer, this means that for a moment in time, I have stabilized the situation to some degree. No stability out here. I need to intercept this. And this is, we got a lot of instructors here today, but if he swings at me, this is dangerous. So I need to intercept. Once I'm inside, go ahead and I'm in here, I'm actually a little closer, less strikes, but it's not stable yet. Once I get a stabilizer, I've got maybe a second, 2 or 3, depending on what he does, to do my next tactic, okay? So that's a stabilizer, this is a stabilizer, and this is a stabilizer. From here we can do damage. If I wanted to hurt him, there's a lot of places I can hurt him here, here, or here. So our stabilizers have to control the individual and allow you to deliver strikes or get to your tools. That's what defines a stabilizer. So when we get into the underhook and pike though, because there's so many different things he can do, we really have to isolate it. So over the years we realized, well, he might do 30 things, but 10 things involve this, 10 things involve this, and 10 things involve that. So the 10 can be broken into 3. So we got 3 basic energies. The guy's either going to try to tackle you somehow, he's either going to lift up his head and try to hit you, right? Or he's going to try to take that arm out. They're doing that kung fu thing. Those are basically the energies you get. So we're going to work 3 things that go with this underhook and pike so you feel more comfortable to be here for a split moment in time and you can handle the situation. So the first one is when he goes for your legs. When he goes for your legs, you just keep the structure. And by keeping the structure, keep going for the leg, look what's happening. Once you're at midpoint, you move your way to the back and you're going to end up in the S position. Okay? So if Fletch gets me an underhook and pike, and I'm going, now the technique's a little bit more complicated than this, but not much more. Right now, he's letting me do all the work. Look, he's just going to keep backing up. That's what I want you to train with initially. You can force this. If he has me here, and he's stronger than I am, and I'm trying to hit him, he can be able to, boom, and he can do that maybe. But you're not relying on that. We're going to rely on what he does. So as he drives in, this is what I want you to go towards the head, descend, and walk behind him. When you get to here, you can squat or you can stand holding the wrist. But bottom line, be here. All right? Let's start with that first energy.